Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to give you 7 more things that are no-nos for resumes these days. So I did a video before with 4 things, but now I have 7 more things that I want you to know about. So the first one is don't use all caps, not for headings, not for your name, not for anything. The only exception is if one of your former employers their brand name is all caps and you use exactly what their brand name is or what their company name is or corporate name is. But don't use all caps for sections. You can use put experience with a capital E. You can put education with a capital E. You can put community involvement with a capital C, but just don't use all caps on the resume because it looks like you're yelling at someone and you want the resume to be professional and refined. So we just don't need to use all caps anymore. That's number 1. Number 2, don't use red fonts. And this I had to learn early on when I started writing resumes years and years ago, decades ago, from a recruiter who told me, and I did lines in between sections, very thin, nice lines just to make the resume appear well, easy to read, eye-catching. And the recruiter told me not to use the red lines or any red fonts on the resume because red denotes anger. So since then, I've never used red on any of my clients' resumes. I'll use blue, I'll use black, I'll use gray, I'll use any other color. Sometimes I even, I get very strategic about this because I want my clients to be the ones that are plucked out of the system and also to be plucked for interviewing. So let's say someone's applying for a company. I had someone want to apply for a company called Nextera Energy. They're here in Palm Beach County, where I am. And they wanted to apply for a position open with Nextera, which is a wonderful company. Everyone likes to work there. And what I did with their resume is I did the headings and the demographics on top with 2 different colors. And they were both the colors that were the logo colors and the brand colors for Nextera. And apparently that went over really well in the interview. So that gentleman ended up getting the job. So that was great. But just don't use red fonts. You can use other fonts, but no red and no yellow or light colors because it's really hard to read. So that's the second thing. The other thing is for no professional license numbers. So back in the day, we used to put nurses' license numbers on there, insurance people's license number on there to show that they were certified, and you would actually put the license number on there. We don't do that anymore. You just say the certifying agency, the name of the certification. You could put when you received it, but that's strategic and the resume writing professional will know whether to put it or not. If it's too old, we don't want any old years on there or old dates or anything like that on there. So there's strategic ways around that, but you put the certification by all means, but don't put the license number. I know it seems weird, but one thing that did happen that I heard about was that someone was a nurse and the person that received her resume in the HR department for what she was applying for, somehow someone got a hold of her license number and was using that to apply for herself, and she wasn't licensed. So just don't put your license number on there. There's no need to. You just put what you're licensed for, and in the interview, you can give them your license number. And during onboarding, the HR department will definitely ask you for those things, or it can come up and you can give it to them. You probably know this, but we don't put our home address on there anymore. We really don't put any personal PII, it's called personal identifiable information. We don't put too much PII on there just because we don't want someone having your home address. You can put your city and your state, and that's it. And then don't use any non-standard, goofy font styles. Just stick with the classics. You can use Arial, Georgia, Times Roman, Century, Calibri, Helvetica. Any of those are fine, but don't go overboard with trying to make it look too fancy or anything like that. Now, there could be rare instances where this is okay if it's a really, really creative position and you know the company would be okay with it. But for most companies that are in business, they just want things, as standard and professional as possible. So just remember, and you can ask ChatGPT or go online to find out what are the safe fonts to use for an applicant tracking system optimized resume, because the applicant tracking system has to be compatible with the fonts. So you can find out about that, or if you go to a professional resume writer, they're going to be able to tell you that. Another thing is no graphics. So unfortunately, we used to put graphics on the resume a lot, but we don't do that anymore because of the applicant tracking systems. And, that has changed everything. Applicant tracking systems, came around. I mean, they got really popular in the last 3 to 4 years, where almost every organization, every company will use the applicant tracking system. It's a very good system for companies because it tracks, it not only does it store your resume, it selects resumes based on keywords. That's why we also need the keywords on there. So that's another thing to not do, is to not have keywords on there. You want your resume to be very keyword rich. So read the job posting, see what they're looking for. Try not to use the exact verbatim phrasing that's in the job posting, but you can put your own spin on it. And again, a professional resume writer will do this for you. But no graphics, and then also no spelling or grammar errors. There's a lot of importance to this one, because that's a make or break on a resume. So it's so easy to use Grammarly or other use spell check or anything that you have, or just ask someone that knows grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, and all that, to make sure that your resume is okay if you're not familiar with it. But those are all very important things to not do on your resume. And I appreciate you listening, and I hope that helps you if you create your own resume, or if you want to assess the resume that you had done by somebody. But feel confident if all of those things are adjusted and that you're not putting those on your resume. Feel confident and have a great interview. Thanks for watching.